You're listening to the Geekscape Network.
Time to fire up the VCR. This one's my favorite. That was gold.
Welcome to Analog Jones in the Temple of Film. I'm Steve.
And I'm Matt.
And we're a VHS podcast that looks at the box art trailers and behind the scenes. And even though we own them, we pretend to rent them. What is number 3 in our Stephen King October?
We are going to be watching Salem's Lot, the movie.
Do you believe a thing can be inherently evil? The Marston House, for instance.
How do you like that old house?
Needs work, but we have time.
Open the window. He commands it. Quiet little town of Salem's Lot.
Oh, it's only all just happened since
I came here.
Well.
tried to rape me.
The vampires are creating vampires.
Hey, this thing is moving.
Yeah, you know, I walked through the valley of the shadow of death. Bill!
Where are you, Sammy darling?
Mr. Barlow is on a buying trip, but the moment he arrives, you'll enjoy Mr. Barlow. And he'll enjoy you.
And to help us in this very complicated story, we have Polett. Polett, introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm just a Stephen King fanatic, I'm obsessed, so that's why I'm here.
You are wearing the Stephen King rules shirt from Monster Squad.
Yes, that's another film that I really, really like, so I thought it was appropriate for today.
Well, if you love that film, you're on the right podcast.
Yes.
I could never find that VHS, though.
No, that'll be impossible.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
super hard to find that one. Maybe one day. Somebody send it to us. We'll talk about it if you send it to us.
Let's go into our history on this film. Matt, had you ever seen this?
I might have. I probably did as like a little kid because I was eating up as many horror movies as I could as a youngin', but I don't remember it at all, so this basically felt like the first time watching it for me.
Paulette, how about you?
This movie I've seen 3 times now, only because I've been searching for it for a long time, but I've been obsessed with the book. That's one of my favorite Stephen King books, so I knew I had to watch the movie eventually, so...
Yeah, I hear it's a lot of people call it like the definitive vampire book, of the like post World War II era.
Yeah, it's very interesting because it's not so much about like the creature, but everything around it, like the town itself. Mm-hmm. And it talks a lot about the town, the people in the town, and why it would happen in that town specifically than any other town. So it's pretty good book. I recommend it.
Yeah, I never hear much about the book compared to his other books. This one seems like, even though it's a classic in a lot of people's minds, you hear a lot more about The Shining or It or Carrie.
I feel like it's because of the movies too. Those movies are much more iconic, if you will, or like people remember them more. Mm-hmm. But this is like the second book he ever wrote. It's pretty solid. It's your standard monster book, if you will, vampires and that sort of trope. So
all right, yeah, I guess that would make sense, because even though this movie has a lot of positive views on it, I don't hear a lot about it either when people talk about the Stephen King ones they love. Maybe it's just like one of these quiet...
It's like quietly respected, I feel like. Everybody's like, yeah, Salem's Lot, it's great. But like, yeah, it's never brought up in the same conversation as Carrie, The Shining, Pet Sematary, all the like classic movies. Yeah. But I think people do respect this movie.
It might also be because it's not very available out to people. Like it's hard to find.
Yeah, this one is a tough one to come across. We found, especially this version that we watched, which we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, see, I thought the mini-series version, the double tape one, was the rare one, but this one is the rare one. So I didn't realize the whole time I was holding such a rare commodity.
Yeah, neither did I when I picked it up. I just picked it up because I was like, horror movie, sure, why not? But then then I found out that like the one that you could see on all the streaming services and things like Vudu and Amazon and stuff is the mini-series. And I'm like, oh shit, I've got the movie. That's cool.
You've made it, Matt.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've made it when you find the Monster Squad.
Yes.
Yeah, I've made it.
Yeah.
That's the next level. Monster Squad or what's the other one?
Maniac.
Is that a hard one?
That's a hard one.
Okay, yeah. If I find either of those, I'll be good. I'll have made it in my VHS realm.
Let's get into the quick facts of this. Salem's Lot, the movie, was originally a CBS miniseries that aired in 1979 based on the horror novel of the same name. Of course, that writer is Stephen King, if you couldn't figure that out. The miniseries was originally aired on November 17th and 24th of 1979 at a runtime of 184 minutes. Ours, on the other hand, is closer to 111, 113. I didn't quite catch it.
It's 111.
111?
111
Okay.
minutes.
Aha, I have some memory. That's not much. The miniseries was shot on a budget of $4 million, estimated. Kind of, well, maybe.
Right.
Later distributed by Warner Brothers. Does this say Warner Brothers on the back?
Yeah, this is Warner Brothers. Tape.
Okay. I wonder if Warner Brothers and CBS had some type of like distribution deal on TV movies.
Yeah, I have no idea, but I do know that sort of the story of the movie was that it was so wildly popular when it aired that they cut it to a movie so that they could put it in theaters.
Well, this is a time period, 70s, 80s, because there were so few channels that TV movies were a big deal. Mm-hmm. Like, we don't quite remember. Well, I remember a little bit. I don't know if you two do.
I remember the Stephen King ones. Those were still
Yeah.
a big deal in the 90s.
Yeah, they were like ones where everyone would, gather around the TV.
Yeah.
Nowadays, good luck.
Yeah, you could just stream it. Everything is at the mercy of a click. But back in these days, you had to wait. It'd be like Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Tommy Knockers is on. I can't miss it.
Oh my God, Tommy Knockers, yes.
I remember getting the blank tapes to catch those type.
Yeah.
Just in case, like.
You didn't make it.
Yeah, just like trying to hit the record. Like, okay, so the clock, I gotta record it a couple minutes before.
Right.
Just in case, and a couple minutes after.
Yeah,
because
that was a key too. Yeah.
Yep.
And if you had to record over something stupid, you did it.
Yeah, you're this wrestling match I recorded from Raw last week, I don't need it anymore. New
Done.
Stephen King is out.
My
I need
communion, don't need that either.
Your communion. Oh, I bet your mom would love that.
Oh yeah, she's a fan.
Directed by Tobe Hooper, the man who brought us Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and the infamous Life Force.
Yes.
Oh, Tobe Hooper. You can really tell this is Tobe Hooper, too, by the big, wide shots he takes. Mm-hmm. He loves his atmospheres.
Yes. Long shots, wide angle. Yeah, very big. He likes scope.
I bet the production designers really liked working with him because they're like, wow, you can literally see everything we did. This was a screenplay written by Paul Monash. He was actually a big deal. And he did he produced Carrie from 1979, Rage Carrie 2 from 1999, and the Carrie TV movie in 2002. And this man's been producing and writing since the 50s. He's old.
To say the least.
He's seen some shit.
Yes.
I'd like to hear his stories. I'm just going to go through 4 names of the cast. David Soul as Ben Mears, the writer/hero of this, because Stephen King got to get himself a writer in there that's also
he needs to put himself in everything he writes.
Yes, and David Soul. I wonder if this was if he was tough to get back then, because was he Starsky or was he Hutch?
I don't know.
I cannot remember.
I don't know who. Yep. Okay, well, clearly we weren't 70s kids.
No.
I don't even know if that came out in the 70s, I assume.
Yeah, it did.
We'll go with yes.
But I didn't, so.
Yeah. That was even before me. James Mason as Richard Stalker? Is it Staker or Stalker?
Straker.
I know, I keep wanting to say Striker from like X-Men.
I keep thinking that too, but no, it's Straker.
It's like he's Brian Cox. Lance Kerwin as Mark, whatever Mark's name is, the horror fan. I can't read my own writing. And then we have Bonnie who played Susan. Bonnie Bedelia from Die Hard.
Yes.
And Funhouse.
Really?
Yes.
Another Tobe Hooper film, right?
Mm-hmm. He brought her on for the Funhouse after they did this. Because I was listening to the commentary on my version.
Oh, I'm proud of your nerdiness on this.
I know.
Good catch for sure.
I'm committed.
Yeah. Well, this is my little note on her. She plays daughter, lover, and fearless lady that runs into a building.
Yeah.
I wish she was in more of the Die Hards, all of them.
Yeah, I wish she was in all the Die Hards too. She's fucking awesome.
She's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So let's let Matt here break down the box art.
So we've said it already, but this is the movie. This is not the TV movie, so this is the single tape. You'll find the double tape for the miniseries, and it'll say on the front, Salem's Lot: the miniseries. So we've got the movie here, and it is the ultimate in terror, according to the tagline here. We've got a black cover. This seems to be a repeated thing for the Stephen King black covers, with the house. The creepy house that the vampires are in.
House.
Yes, in a silhouette with the vampire lurking over it and a full moon in between them. It's a effective cover. It's a good cover.
Yeah, this is a striking imagery. I think this one's really good, even though it's kind of subtle too.
Yeah,
real simple.
Yeah, a minimalist kind of. The font too. I always love this font.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good choppy font kind of.
Yeah, someone knew what they were doing when they put this together.
And I actually wish this was the cover for the book, the original cover for the book, because the original one, it just says Salem's Lot in big letters, and there's a picture of a house with green grass, and everything looks very nice when it's not at all.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit more telling of what the actual story is.
Well, it's his second novel, right?
Yeah, second novel.
So I wonder if they're I don't know if we should spend more money on a better artist.
Probably not.
Let's just use Todd over there. Todd, he did, I don't know.
He can do a cover of a house.
Yeah.
We got him on salary, use him.
Right.
But, this is a great cover. I don't think this is one you'd hear people, again, I think they'd all respect it. But you don't hear people this is the greatest VHS cover I've ever seen.
No, but it's a good one. It's a good one. If you never, ever, ever, ever heard of this movie or Stephen King and you saw this cover, you'd be like, that looks dope, I'll rent that.
I'm pretty sure that's what you actually did.
Probably.
So the key word from this entire podcast should be respectable.
Respectable.
Yeah, respectable.
We flip it over to the back here, and here's our description. Oh, and just so... for the purists that might be following along with us, this is from 94. This is a re-release from 94.
Oh, so this is when, okay.
So you're going to hear, it references some later stuff in the description here.
Wow, this is so popular that, let's see, when did this come out, 79? Wow, 15 years later, they're we can still pop these out and sell them.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Impressive.
And evil as old as man, and a man who knows, or fears no evil. That's our little tagline on the back here. Salem's Lot, pretty as a postcard, but kind of quiet. The streets just look dead. And every horror fan knows why. In Salem's Lot, the movie, a blood-curdling shocker based on the novel by Stephen King, Carrie, Misery, Pet Sematary, director Tobe Hooper, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Poltergeist, sends the time-honored vampire legend soaring on bat wings into the modern era. Sinister events bring together a writer, David Soul, fascinated with an old hilltop house, a suave antiques dealer, James Mason, whose expertise goes beyond bric-a-brac, and the dealer's partner, a vampire bent on draining the local bloodlines. Solid supporting cast of vampire victims and fighters include Bonnie Bedelia, Lou Ayres, Alicia Cook, Ed Flanders, George D'Zunza, Lance Kerwin, Jeffrey Lewis, and Marie Windsor. It's hard to keep the undead down, and it's so easy to be scared in Salem's Lot.
Oh man, they really hit you with names there at the end.
Yeah.
It's bop, bop, bop. Just name dropping.
And
for the names.
And we only get one image on the back, but it is our vampire with James Mason and the young kid
Mark.
I don't know if it's smart to put the vampire on the back of this, but I guess by 94...
Everybody knows what it looks like,
I mean, the version that I have, it's 2016, I want to say. There's literally 2 lines in the back. Like, you know what it is. Just buy it. Here it is.
Just throwing it on DVD. Here you go. But it has commentary, so...
Yes, it does.
Who's the commentary with?
Tobe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I guess he was doing nothing at that time period. I mean, when did he pass away? Last year?
Yeah.
Was it this year?
No, it wasn't this year.
Last year.
It was last year?
It was last year.
If not the year before, even. Maybe.
I want to say he passed away the same year as, what's his name? Oh my god.
The singer?
No, Night of the Living Dead director. God,
Romero.
George
yes,
Romero.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so many people died in, like, 2015 and 16 that it's just, like, hard to keep up with.
Wes, Romero,
Yeah.
and Tobe Hooper. We lost, like, all of the masters at once. It was so sad.
And that's not including all the musicians, so it gets hard.
Let's not go there.
Yeah. So, let's get into the story here. Like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to go through scene of this because, damn, there's a lot. There's a lot going on. But we get the main story of Ben comes home to his small town of Salem's Lot in Maine to write his new book on the Marston house. Yeah, Marston house that he believes is haunted, or did he believe it was just pure evil?
Pure evil. So, like, everything around the town, they know there's something wrong with the house, and they just can't really pinpoint what it is. So there's always been, like, something around the house.
Yeah, and so it's like kind of like just I don't want to say haunted house, but like Amityville kind of like.
It's a bad spot. It's just a bad.
Well, I don't know if this is in the version you guys saw, but the person that built the house had a wife, and then some time later he went insane and killed his wife and killed himself. So
I don't know if
you
that's.
Don't think it's in this version.
Well, my version has that.
Then we find Ben wants to. Did he want to buy the house?
I think he just wants to poke his head in this movie.
But
he wants to look around.
But he ends up staying in some kind of, I don't know, like temporary house place owned by someone. The lovely lady that wanted the doctor at one point just goes, "Oh, we used to watch her sashay down the street." And I was like, "Sashay, huh?
Sashay.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right, you can tell this is made 79."
Exactly.
If you said sashay on the playground right now, you get punched in the face.
For sure.
So he goes and he tells everyone, "Hey, I'm going to write a book on this actual house." But he bumps into Susan, the teacher, who just happens to be reading one of his books in the park.
Of course.
I was trying to figure out, I'm like, did she set that up? Or are they just like this blatantly obvious? Like,
I think she was reading his book, and he's like, you know, arrogant writer guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go talk to her. She's reading my book.
Let's see if she recognizes me."
Yeah. I think that's why he went over there, is because she was reading the book.
And he wastes no time asking her out.
Lays it on flat.
He's just like, "Yeah, you want to go out?" She changes the subject and he goes, "You didn't answer my question." She's like, "Okay."
I guess.
Now, I want to see the difference between the miniseries and the movie here. Because basically their first date is them having dinner with her family. And I was like, did I miss something? He went straight to the parents?
No, they go out for coffee.
Do you remember that?
It's not in this one.
Yeah.
Because the first time we see them together, like on a date, is
that's
in the
fast.
parents' house.
No, that's fast.
This version, like when they are introducing the characters, is so choppy and fast. Like so fast.
Man.
They are just like blowing through as many characters as they can in as short a time as they can, because I feel like the second half is completely intact in this movie.
Yeah.
And they just burn through that first half.
Yeah, like and it's such a stereotypical house. He's the doctor. He stays at the table while the ladies clean up.
Yeah. And they're like having a drink after dinner or something.
And then talking. Like even at one time the mom goes, "Oh boys." You know, like, I'm like, oh God.
God, yeah.
There was something I kind of liked the doctor. I was getting like some, like he might be an old school guy, but he seemed like a good soul.
Yeah.
Like he didn't bail on the town when the shit goes down at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I actually would say, like, as choppy as it is, and it's hard to kind of figure out what's going on in, like, the first half hour of this, because it just flies through everything. I like all the characters, or at least even the ones I don't like. I want to watch. I want to see this story unfold here. Like, this is one of those miniseries where it totally works. I want to see these characters.
Yeah. Well, his books, he's really good at world building.
Yes.
In fact, he just goes crazy with it. So.
There's 4 pages of him describing the grass. So I mean,
Jesus, really?
Yes, under the dome.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I skimmed through those pages, but.
Everyone does, or at least they should. 3 of the characters that are completely useless in this film, and I want to know if they are worth anything in the miniseries. The real estate agent guy, who dresses more 70s than any man has ever dressed 70s. Yes. Like a used cars and salesman 70s. We have the assistant that he's having an affair with.
Secretary or something,
Secretary. Mm-hmm. And then we have the fat slob husband.
So, does it play all of their story?
No.
We see the scene where the real estate guy is sleeping with her, and then the guy comes home and threatens him with the gun. I think that's all we see. We see a little bit of them in the place when what's his name is David Soul. What's his name? What's his character's name again? Main character, writer?
Ben.
Oh, Ben, yeah.
Well, yeah, when Ben is looking for a place, we see them kind of talk to each other, and then we kind of, I think, just jump to them making out on the bed, and then the husband comes in with the gun.
Okay.
And he's like...
So, yeah, there's
and she immediately tries to sell out that
yeah,
used car. She's like, no, he tried to rape me. And I was like, whoa.
Yeah. She pulled the card. But no, so... They have more scenes on the miniseries where, they're at the workplace, and then she calls him on the phone, and they're going back and forth. But I think the main reason why they have those scenes is just to know the town in general. I forgot what happens to the husband after there's that scene where they where he threatens the real estate guy. Then he gets bitten, and then you see how he starts to get sick, and then they show at the same time someone else in the town that's getting sick at the same time. So it's just more of showing how everyone is getting.
So I remember
sick.
the first kid, Ralphie or whatever. I remember him getting sick.
I think he's the only one we see get sick at the beginning.
And eventually the gravedigger gets sick.
Oh, you mean Danny? So Ralphie is the one that got lost, and they couldn't find.
Yeah, that was snagged by the
and then his brother is Danny, and he's the one going around.
Okay.
Getting everyone sick.
Gotcha.
All right, so we didn't get anywhere near as much of that because I don't even remember the husband getting sick at all. Mm-mm. In fact, is he gone from the story?
Doesn't he show up or something like that and talk to him, and that's the last thing we see? Am I remembering this right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot going on.
I think that's for the other kids, Mark.
Is that who I'm thinking of when
Probably.
Straker shows up? Okay. So yeah, I don't think we see much more with this husband after this scene. Really.
Yeah, and then Ben goes to the school to meet up with his old teacher, talk to him about the new book that he's writing, and then he bumps into Susan, who is happens to be a teacher there. Oh, huh? That's nice. And then we find her ex-boyfriend, which is the plumber / delivery man. So this is a very
psycho.
Yeah, this small town, they got people doing a lot of jobs because later on, him and the gravedigger are delivering a giant crate, and he is obsessed. The plumber, the ex-boyfriend, is obsessed with this crate. He's like, "It's cold. Let's open it." And I'm like, "Dude, no, just drop it off." And then he keeps going. It's like, "No, we got to open it." Finally, the security guard kicks him out. And then again, he's going on and on the ride back. What was in that? I gotta know what was in that.
So did they skip then where the box is moving in the truck, which is why he wanted to open it?
They show that.
Yeah,
they show it.
I still don't think that's enough for this guy to be like, man, if I saw a box moving like that, I would dump it and go. Run.
So if you're wondering about the box, just don't move the box.
Yeah, just
don't volunteer for the job.
This guy. Yeah. Now they show him get bit later on.
Yes.
Yeah, we see him get it.
And that's the first time we see Barlow, the vampire.
Yes, he was the reveal on him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
God, what a good reveal.
I looked at the clock. I paused it to look at the clock to remember. It was at 1:09 in this. So 69 minutes into this film, boom, that thing is revealed, and my face just went, whoa!
Exactly, you're not expecting it.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it really is. The large crate's delivered. This is when I mentioned, okay, Ralphie is taken, and it looks for like a tasty treat for whoever's in the box. Who's in the box?
I don't know.
And let's see, Danny gets infected. Eventually, okay, they bury him, right? And then he rises up to visit Mark. And that's when we get Danny at the actual window.
Open the window. Open the window, Mark. Open the window, Mark. Please. Let me in. It's okay, Mark. I'm your friend.
Go away.
Go away!
Which is, I remembered that. I've seen that.
It's an absolutely incredible scene.
That is one of my favorite scenes for the movie.
I think that's everyone's. I wondered, do you think that like ended tape 1?
I
Probably.
bet it did. I bet it did.
Yeah.
That's right where it would have probably in the movie,
He's like,
I would guess.
Like
It's like,
his,
oh no, he's gonna open it.
And he's taking his fingernails and like scraping them down the window.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, gee, I wonder where Fright Night got inspired from.
I was going to say, Fright Night took a lot from this movie,
Oh, yeah.
I feel like. Now
lot
seeing
of
it, like, the movie itself, I think Tom Holland watched Salem's Lot and was like,
It was
I can
probably
make a
his
comedy
favorite.
version of this.
I'm going to make an updated comedy version of this, and it's going to be great. And it was.
And it was.
Yeah. Maybe not as respected.
Yes. Not respected.
This one's respected, though.
The other one's just fun.
Word of the day. So we get Mark fights off Danny, and we should also bring up that Mark is a cool kid.
Yes.
I think he basically, every nerd who's watching this, all three of us were kind of like,
That's
yeah,
me.
Yeah.
Mark's just like me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because he's a horror fan, but he's not like the movie version of a horror fan where they're like obnoxious or they're the weird kid. Because he's like a nice guy, he's well adjusted, he has friends, he's having a good, he's just a good kid, but he likes horror stuff. And I'm like, well, yeah, we can all relate to that then, because everybody's got their nerd thing. So
and he doesn't back down to his dad about it, because his dad, he like puts on the handcuffs, gets out of it, and he's like, Danny, why do you like all this horror stuff and magic? And he goes, I don't know, Dad, you like numbers, so you became an accountant. I like this, so he goes, but I can make a living from it. And then Mark immediately goes, I'm going to make a living from it too.
Hell
and I was
yeah,
like,
kid.
damn!
Inspiration.
Mark's like, Dad, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Good for you, kid. But hopefully you don't get in student loan debt. Back then, I don't think that.
Well,
it wasn't.
I mean, all his knowledge about monsters actually came in handy because he didn't invite the vampire in.
Yes.
So there you go.
Yeah. Does he make the makeshift cross, or was that?
No, that was Ben.
Mm-hmm.
He grabbed one from like a model he was making.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
He like broke it up. Wasn't it like a cemetery set or something? He
something
like snapped
like
it
that.
off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then then we skip somehow. All my notes, I got sucked into this. My notes stopped because the plumber pops out of that. Was he in a box when he scares Ben? Like he punches,
he was behind the door, I think.
Whatever it was, he smashes
Yeah,
out
I
of
was
it,
like,
and I
what
was
the
like,
hell?
what the fuck? Like you already have the jump on him because he doesn't know you're in the room. Then he goes like one step further. He goes, and I'm gonna hide behind this.
Yeah.
But
We'll
he
never know.
He whops Ben and puts him in the hospital.
That was very because all you see is like 2 hits. It's like, wow, you ended up in the hospital. Okay.
Yeah, and then somehow, then we get the reveal of the vampire shortly after because that's when
he gets arrested and it happens at the jail.
That's it. He gets arrested for punching Ben, and then the vampire
pops up. And he's in there. Oh, what a good scene too. Oh,
Yeah.
that was
So good.
so good.
Oh, what was the vampire's name?
Barlow.
Barlow? Yes. And Barlow was, not Straker. I'm going to keep saying the name. Staker. Staker? Straker. Okay. That's a tough
It's a
one.
combination of the two.
Yeah. So, Barlow was his partner for the antique shop, which, okay, I did not pick up it was an antique shop until halfway through the movie when I think he drops off his suits because when they're looking for Ralph at the beginning, the suit is torn. And immediately Ben's like, it's that creepy dude right there. He always wears black suit. And the cop's like, okay. Sure. But I think he gives his suits to the cop.
Yeah.
And says something about his antique shop. And I'm like, oh, I thought he was running a funeral home.
He might as well have, really.
Did you pick up on it right away?
Yeah, I thought it was an antique shop because I got the Needful Things vibe from it,
okay.
and that's what I thought we were kind of doing. So that's why I that's the only reason I knew.
It's
I
very
wouldn't have
similar
known.
to that.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have been, I'm a huge Needful Things fan. So like I thought that's why I thought that. But if I wasn't a fan of that, I probably wouldn't have picked up on it either.
Well, I wasn't watching this on my big screen. I was watching it on my computer monitor here through my little box that I do to capture all these movies. So it's a smaller screen. Oh. So I'm just like, not full. But I laugh my ass off and I'm like, antiques! Okay, I got that totally wrong. And then we get into the story. This is when this movie really picks up because we get the attack of Ben at the hospital and then he makes his little cross. And do you wonder why, like, is it me or did a lot of people just accept these were vampires right away when Ben tells them? Because Ben tells Susan at one time, he's like, there's vampires, you got to get out of town. She's like, oh, okay.
Well, on my version, when he's talking to the professor, his teacher or whatever, it takes him like 2 times to like really get the hang. He's like, do you know what that sounds like? You sound like you're crazy. No one's going to believe us. We can't go to the cops. It's like 2 scenes of that.
I think we get 1 scene of that. That sounds familiar. I think we get 1 scene of the doctor.
I think he's talking to his teacher when he has dinner with him one night. He's like, do I sound crazy? And he's like, you kind of sound crazy. But it wasn't a major pushback.
Well, that happens. And then once Mike, you know that guy Mike that the professor invited over to stay at his house?
Yeah.
Because he was sick.
Yeah.
So when he gets sick and like it starts acting weird, the professor calls Ben, and then that's when they have the other crazy talk again. Okay. Like, no one's gonna believe us. And then after that, they bring in the doctor, Susan's dad, and
yeah. Well, he definitely believes him after the hospital. Like I fucking saw that. What the hell? And that was that Danny's mom?
Yes.
Yes, that was Danny's mom. And then
in another like very Fright Night moment with the burning of the cross in the head and everything.
Straight up.
Oh, that is straight up like Fright Night.
Yeah.
Brewster, right? No, who's the kid who says that?
Evil Ed.
Evil Ed.
Yeah, it gets burned like that. Yep.
Total Evil Ed though. Except Evil Ed's teeth are like, I can't see. His teeth are always stuck in my head. Like,
they're gnarly.
Yeah. I would not want to be bit by Evil Ed. Woo.
Nope.
But this vampire Barlow, he seems like a nice guy.
Oh yeah, he's a stand-up guy.
He's a little down, a little blue all the time, but dad joke. So, I don't know if this is Mark's parents, which by the way, damn, they kill Mark's parents. Mark's just like, I'm gonna get fucking revenge.
Yeah.
But when Barlow comes up off the floor as a cape, because I don't know if there's like an earthquake or something happening when he's revealed, but the cape comes off the floor. That is awesome.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was some old school magic trickery that just still worked today. You could do that now in something and I'd be like, damn!
Impressive.
Yeah.
So, good job. Wow.
Anytime there's really any horror scenes with the vampires or Barlow, anything like that, it all works in this movie.
Yes.
And it's like every
solid.
Scary scene has been masterfully crafted in this film.
Yeah, I think a lot of the special effects still work today because they're timeless. You know, everything's there. It's on screen. It's all in-camera effects. The only thing that dates this film is basically the characters.
Their outfits, kind of, yeah.
Outfits,
Everyone's got fucking sideburns.
yeah.
Bell bottoms.
Yeah.
But that's really all that dates this. It's kind of incredible. Some of this conversation I could still see happening today, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that's to their credit. It was irritating me a little bit how wasted Susan was. I mean, they get maybe like one kind of like a feminist speech out of her where she wants to leave the town.
Yeah, they just like summed it down to very small lines.
Yeah, I think it was a waste. I think Susan should have had more. In this cut, it's too bad they couldn't have like eliminated like the shotgun wielding husband and the cheating wife and everything. If they could have just cut that out and kind of like pushed Susan's character
filled in her story and everything. Yeah.
But sadly, this cut, they probably had none of that. In 1979, I don't know if that was a thing really. We had obviously the 60s and the 70s feminism, but when it came to 1979 TV movie, were we really getting a lot of feminist characters?
Especially horror, I don't think so.
Yeah.
And I mean, in the book, she's a little bit more developed, but not a lot, to be honest.
Damn, is that hard?
Yeah,
I think so.
Wow. Wine.
But yeah, then if you cut it from the TV series to like an hour and a half, you're obviously not gonna get much.
Yeah. So
there's a lot going on though.
But the 80s started to introduce us to the badasses. We got the rip. We got what's her name in Terminator in '84, Sarah Connor. But she wasn't a badass to the end.
No,
she was useless at the beginning, but her character grew.
Right.
Yes. Then we got the
development.
Ripleys. So Susan. Well, I guess I'm not yelling at you. Hooper. We need more out of Susan.
Yes.
We're gonna write that letter to you that you won't get because you're dead.
All right.
Well, he is.
He is. You're not wrong.
He'll still read it. Him and I were best friends.
Yes.
Send it through a crystal ball.
He's like, you're the only kid who liked Invaders from Mars. And I'm like, it's true. Oh, I understand. I watched it as a kid and it's got nostalgia value.
No, I get it. Me too. But it's like, no.
I actually haven't watched that probably since I was like 12 years old.
I watched that 2 years ago and I was like, wow, really? I'm doing this?
I haven't seen it.
That great.
I've seen the original. I've seen the 50s one. I've not seen Hooper's remake though.
The re-release they did of that on VHS is really easy to find. So
I'm sure it is. No one wants it.
That too. Sorry, Tobe Hooper. We're kind of shitting on your movie here, but it's not good.
But you did this one. This one's great.
Yes, good job.
It's a respected classic.
Respected. I kind of just want that on a t-shirt. Respected classic. Fuck, I don't even know where we're at. Well, anyway, they all get to the house because Mark is going for revenge. Yes. And this kid is ballsy.
I love Mark in this movie. I love Mark here.
He's running straight into this house, and for some reason Susan's following him. I don't really know why.
Yeah, I don't know how she ended up at the house.
But she goes right in too, so I was like, are you sure you're going to go into that house?
Right.
Because even if I saw Mark go into the house, I'd be like,
I think she is going into the house because she sees Mark go in, and she's like, what is he up to?
Yeah.
Should he be going in there? Like, I think she just kind of follows him when she sees him go in.
Well, she's already quickly accepted that vampires are real. So, I mean, as soon as I'd find out vampires are in a town, you'd see me in a suitcase. Like, aren't you going to go fight them? Fuck that.
Nope. I mean, the police officer left.
Yes!
That's me in that situation. Yeah. I'd be like, I'm out of here.
He's like, where are you going? You can't leave the town. He's like, hell I can. I'm leaving.
He's like, are you staying? And he just throws him the gun.
Yeah, he's like, you're going to need this. Okay.
Yeah, that's me in that scenario. I'm out.
And then Ben and the doctor end up going into the house, too. I think Susan is knocked out and captured along with Mark. Are they both captured?
No. So Straker finds them, and I guess yeah, they both get captured at first, but then Mark's able to leave, and then he just left Susan behind.
Oh.
Yeah. But by that time, Ben and the
I mean, he's a kid.
Right, yeah.
Like, if Susan would have left the kid, I'd been like, damn, Susan, fuck. Then the doctor gets there and gets impaled on antlers.
Yes.
That was cool, too. It's like they put the camera, like, attached to the actual doctor and then, like, wheeled them both.
Yeah.
That was a really cool effect.
Yeah.
Again, with the in-camera effects, good job. And it works. If I saw that in a movie, I'd be like, yes. More of that.
Yeah. This end fight with the antlers and everything, this takes place in the basement of the house. Again, very Fright Night. Like, I could not get over, once again, another, like, parallel to Fright Night. Like, our hero and the doctor are basically like Brewster and Roddy McDowell in the movie, and it's like they're in the basement, and that's where the final battle takes place. It's very, very similar again. Like,
oh yeah, completely. Ben and Mark end up staking Barlow. I thought Barlow would give up a better fight at the end here. I thought Barlow falls pretty quickly. I know he was in his coffin.
He was caught off guard. It was still daytime, wasn't it?
It was just turning, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of wanted more of a fight there.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think they just had to get to the point where we got to wrap this up. We're on.
It's already 3 hours.
That's the Stephen King effect, I think, too. His endings are usually a little weaker than the rest of the movie because it's just like he's rushing to get to.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, like we gotta end this thing.
He's like, I'm on page 379, and I told him it'd be 400 pages. Shit.
I gotta stake this dude.
And then they pretty much run out of the house and they just burn it down, and that's how our movie ends. Like it's really anticlimactic there. They're like, okay, that'll make the rest of these vampires, scatter and reveal to the world. And then it fade to black, credits.
Oh,
done.
really?
That's
okay.
it.
So, no, there's more. There's the epilogue.
I figured there had to be.
Also, the scenes of the house being on fire, those are not original scenes that they shot. They got leftover shots from another movie that they used from Warner Brothers because they didn't let them set fire around the house. Also, that they built like a new house right next to an actual people's house that they were still living on.
That's why it kind of looks like the garage is burning instead of like the actual house. I'm like,
it
what
looks
part of
weird.
the house is this?
Yeah. So in the epilogue after that, you see the beginning again where Ben and Mark are in Guatemala.
Now, see, we did not. That's not in this.
That's not there at all.
So they start where Ben and Mark are in Guatemala because it's like after the fact, I guess. They were running from Salem's Lot because everything was gone and whatever. But apparently, because there's still vampires there, nobody died except for Barlow. They're still alive.
It's Stake Land?
Yeah, so they are looking for them, and somehow they're able to track them. I'm not sure how, they don't explain. But then at the end, they say, oh, they're looking for us. We have to get out, like go somewhere else. And so they go back to their house, gather their things, and then at the house, Susan's waiting for them. Like Vampire Susan.
Okay, yeah, because she just disappears in this movie.
Yeah, so she pretty much gets bitten and turned into a vampire. And so then... Yeah, she's there and she's like, oh, now we can be together. I'm not dead. Like, I'm alive. And so he's, just talking to her. And then she's like, kiss me. So she can turn him. She's laying on the bed. And then she opens her eyes. And obviously her eyes are, like, changed like a vampire. So then he stakes her, kills her. And then they get on their way somewhere else because there's going to be more looking for them.
Oh wow, there's like an entire different.
Yeah, that's a whole chunk that's not in here.
Wow, that's very different. Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't quite know why they kept some things in and kept something like that out.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's seems like wow, that's very odd.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the end of the day, this film's second half is awesome. Once Danny floats outside of Mark's bedroom window, this movie just like goes
rockets. Yeah. Like it goes literally from like 0 to 1,000. Like
But you got to get through the first 45-50 minutes of this. It's slow.
Or in my case, I think it was like an hour and 20.
It's when I was watching this, I kept looking at the clock over and over. I'm like, this is gonna be tough to make. But like I said, once it hits about probably the 50-minute mark, I don't think I looked at the clock again. It was just watching it straight and very much enjoying what we got. I wish we got more Barlow.
I think we just got the right amount, honestly. Less is more sometimes.
I want to. I just want to see the final fight with more Barlow. I want to see someone get their face slashed with his claws.
But then I don't know. At least in the book too, he talks. So I like that they didn't make him talk in this because, like you said, less is more. And if there's dialogue, especially from the monster, it just defeats how bad he is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one just like is pure evil for no. It's like the first Michael Myers in Halloween. It's pure evil, and we don't need to know why.
Nope. We don't need the Rob Zombie version.
So, oh, Rob Zombie. We're not going to rip you. We already ripped Tobe Hooper. One director per episode.
We'll come back to that one.
Okay, unless it's Michael Bay, you can rip him.
Ooh, okay.
We actually have a shrine to that. Do we recommend? I mean, it's fucking easy to say, but Matt, do you recommend Salem's Lot?
Absolutely. I've only seen the movie version, so I can't say which version to go with. This one is choppy. Be aware of that when you go in. But I definitely recommend the movie. The second half is nutters. I love it.
Paulette, do you recommend it?
Hell yes. And I'd recommend to go all in and get the TV series because if it's as choppy as I think it is, because you can definitely tell when they ended like the episode, then you are missing a lot that makes sense when you watch the whole thing. Yeah, this is a sweep. I recommend it too. Like I said, it's a slow burn. You got to stick with it. Yeah, it will be worth it.
It pays off. It pays off for sure.
I'm going to recommend this because I haven't seen the full miniseries, but I'm interested in seeing the miniseries now.
I'll watch it. Yeah. I'll give it a shot. Maybe next Halloween. Give it a shot.
We probably have to... No, we could get the VHS. As you say, it's not super rare. This is a super rare one, so... Well,
yeah, we could probably find the miniseries on VHS.
Yeah. If not, last resort.
I can call some stores and get laughed at.
Salem's Lot, the miniseries on VHS.
Whoa, fool.
All right, let's go off to the museum.
This is the second time I've had to reclaim my property from you. That belongs in a museum. So do you.
This is the part of the show where we put something good or bad in it. We're like Indy, going out and finding something. What do we remember from this movie most? Matt?
I am going to put the scene in the museum. I'm going to put the Danny scene. It's incredible. It's the spark that lights the firework that is the second half. I was hooked from that moment. I liked the movie up until that point too, where I was interested in the characters' stories. But once we got to that moment, I was like, damn, this is real shit. And it was still scary. It holds up. Yes. Still scary. Mm-hmm. I was watching it alone in bed and was creeped out. So, yeah, still effective. Great scene.
Since you put that one in the museum, I'll put where Barlow is at Mark's house with his parents. Where you see the scene where he comes off the ground. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's another solid one.
That actually ties in with mine. Mine is I'm going to do the in-camera effects on this movie are so good that it makes this movie iconic. Because the reveal of Barlow as a camera trick, the atmosphere that they use, the camera in some parts becomes a character with just with the in-camera effects, like the stabbing with the antlers, the Barlow raising, which is just a spectacular one. That's fun.
Tobe Hooper was the fucking man. You know, we were shitting on Invaders from Mars, but that was a weird time for him. Damn, we see movies like this, you see Poltergeist, you see Texas Chainsaw, and you just see that this dude was a master. This is a filmmaker.
Yeah, he was a master that just fell off the cliff too. It's so odd. Yeah. I mean, I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre too, but I love it as kind of making fun.
I do. I don't take it like a serious horror movie.
Yeah. It's like Gremlins 2 to me, where they're kind of like Gremlins 2 is mocking all sequels. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just mocking the fact that you can't follow up an iconic film.
Yeah, and Tobe Hooper was aware of that and was like, okay, you want me to make a sequel to this movie that should never have a sequel? It's going to get ridiculous. I think that's another testament to his brilliance. Life Force and Invaders from Mars, that's a whole other story.
I mean, when you make a movie with canon.
It's actually probably more their fault than his anyway, so let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, got some behind the scenes here before we leave. I thought some interesting things on it. Well, actually, it's just more of the sequels. I want to know how many of you guys have seen this. Obviously, Paulette, you've seen the miniseries, and we've seen the movie. But they talked about making a sequel to this movie several times for 10 years, and they couldn't get there right. They had several writers come in, and one of the ones I found was really interesting because it made no sense to me, but now it does, is where Ben and Mark are basically having a series of adventures hunting down vampires. And I'm like, you mean Stakeland?
Well, that would make sense now after what I said, but
yeah,
they can't do that if you're just going to base it off the movie. That doesn't make sense.
I just wanted an entire series of them hunting vampires.
Yeah, I would have watched that. Salem's Lot, the TV series. Hell yeah.
I'm just really surprised that they couldn't come up with something, because if they own the rights to this and they had a distributor, I mean, come on.
I mean, we did get a sequel. We did get in 1987 Larry Cohen's Return to Salem's Lot.
Yeah, I think it has basically not much to do with this movie. I don't even think they put
Is that the one with Rob Lowe in it?
No, that's the 2004.
See.
Straker isn't even in this.
What?
He's not even in Salem's Lot Returns. It was directed by Larry Cohen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I've never seen it. Anyone?
No.
Nope. I only know about Return to Salem's Lot.
I guess a lot of fans from the original one did not like Return.
Oh no, it's awful.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It's bad. I've seen it maybe once. I didn't even finish it. I just know that everything's bad.
What it sounds like to me is they couldn't find the right script for a sequel, so they just rushed one that seemed like a decent story that had something to do with vampires. I'm just assuming. Also
pulling Rob Lowe, that's been in The Stand, so another King property, kind of like getting people.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had the 2004 TNT made-for-TV remake. They basically just rebooted the miniseries, correct?
Pretty much.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that one either.
I've seen that one. I liked it. I like that one. I've seen it. It's fine.
It's got Rob Lowe. He plays Ben the writer. Donald Sutherland plays Straker. Rutger Hauer plays Barlow the Vamp, which I want to know. That actually makes me want to watch the movie for the sheer fact that I just want to see what he looks like as Barlow.
I think he just looks like Rutger Hauer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he just looks...
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think they make him all like Nosferatu-y like this one.
And James Crowell plays Father Callahan. Now, was Father Callahan in this movie? Did they eliminate?
Yes. No. So on the scene where Mark's parents are in the kitchen and it's Mark and the other person there, that's Dr. Callahan.
Oh, yes.
So they're having an intervention for because he said it wasn't a dream that he saw Danny, so they thought he was dreaming and having nightmares because he's into monsters.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah.
So he's very important in the Stephen King universe, or not very important, but somewhat of a big character. And in the movie, you just throw him in the last scene, which is very interesting to me. Here, Father Callahan.
Okay. Yeah, Father Callahan definitely sounds like a familiar character.
Yeah, he's recurring in Salem's Lot and then the Dark Tower and other stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it said expanded role when I saw it, and I'm like, I don't even remember him in it. Anything could be expanded past, next to nothing. But maybe one day I'll revisit that one. Or I've never even visited. Maybe I'll visit it for the first time. I don't know. It's just that disappoints me that Rutger Hauer just looks like Rutger Hauer.
I think.
Okay.
From what I remember.
Well,
but he doesn't look like this. I can tell you that.
Well, why the fuck would you do a remake of this if you didn't use the...
Not gonna make him look cool like Barlow does in this movie.
It's 2004, so I wonder what type of music did we get in that? Did we get
a lot of new metal in it?
Yeah,
it's
new metal.
Yeah. Probably why I liked it when it came out.
It's just like Rob Lowe walking around in a leather jacket.
Yes.
Either that or
shit.
You're right.
Yes!
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I almost knocked everything down with that.
He got so excited. Steve was watching 2004 Salem's Lot tonight.
Yeah. Where can I find it? Well, I guess that's going to come to the end of our episode here. It's been fun. Polett, it was awesome to hear you explain to us what we missed.
Glad to help.
Yes, super fan over here. Okay, so next week we're going to return with, it's a big one, Christine.
Yes. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about that other John Carpenter movie that's coming out.
Oh, that little thing? What's that thing?
I I believe it's based off a holiday, maybe Easter.
Yes, the Easter movie that comes out.
Killer Easter Bunny. I would watch that.
Killer Easter Bunny in a William Shatner mask.
Yes. So, but we're gonna talk about Christine. Obviously, we're gonna talk about that, but we just might dip our toes into Halloween a little bit. But that is our Halloween episode, so definitely come back to hear us wax all things Halloween and Christine and John Carpenter and Stephen King nostalgia. It's going to be overload.
That is massive.
It's going to be a massive episode.
Massive.
I was not a car kid, but I always love killer car movies. Like, I just...
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I never watched...
Knight Rider?
I never watched things like Knight Rider or Dukes of Hazzard that, we see one of the actors here from it. But man, Christine, woo! I got in trouble one time for watching that. And I'll tell you that story. Just come back next week.
Ooh, nice teaser.
Yes.
Yeah, very good.
All right, everyone. Rate and review us on iTunes. It helps us a lot. If you don't have iTunes or don't have one of those Apple phones, you can watch. We got Google Play, Podbean, YouTube, Stitcher, all the pod things.
Yeah. Rate, review us. Write to us. Say hello. We want to hear your thoughts. Not too many of them, though, because we're going to do what we want anyway.
You can email, basically, Matt at analogjonestOF@gmail and give him your crazy thoughts. He'll get high and write you back.
Yeah, I will only respond to them stoned and at 4 a.m., I promise.
Be kind!
Rewind.
Just got really lost there at the end. Lost my mind. It's because I'm thinking about Rob Lowe in a leather jacket.
Yeah.
He does that continuously. Oh wait, did you find The Stand on VHS?
Yeah, I have The Stand right there.
Oh, you do? Have you seen it yet?
No.
That's pretty much the same thing. Rob Lowe in a leather jacket and plaid.
Wait, Rob Lowe's in The Stand?
Yeah, Rob Lowe's in The Stand.
I watched The Stand when it came out on TV. I don't remember shit except it's fucking long.
You don't. It's one of those things where you have to watch it. But it's not that great. But it's just canon. You have to watch it.
Yeah, I mean I'll get to it, but it's 6 hours.
Oh yeah.
It's a commitment.
It took me a couple days.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, do you guys like horror movies?
I do.
Do they always have to be good movies?
No way.
I prefer them to be crap, personally.
Well, then you guys are in luck, because Horror Movie Night is your expert podcast on both horror movies, good, bad, and gooey. It's just a show of three friends.
Two brothers and a friend, I think you would call it. But we're all friends here.
We're friends. We're all friends here.
Yeah.
We goof around, but we talk about movies, but we normally don't actually talk about movies, which is kind of weird. It's a weird dynamic. You have to really listen to understand it. But we put together a show every Friday morning. You can find our show hmnpodcast.com. We're part of the Geekscape Network. We are, we're good guys. Just check us out. We're good, silly guys. We're fun.
Please like me.
Please.
That's pretty much the impetus of everything we do, is to be accepted.
We want to be loved. hmnpodcast.com.